Welcome, everyone, to CDO Magazine series of one-on-one interviews with CDOs, data leaders, and key influencers. I'm your host, Robert Lutton, Vice President, Sandhill Consultants, coming to you today from Toronto, Canada. On behalf of the CDO Magazine, I have the pleasure of introducing Derrick Higgins. Derrick is the head of Enterprise Data Science and AI at Blue Cross Blue Shield for Illinois, Montana, New Mexico, Oklahoma, and Texas. Welcome, Derrick.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be with you today.
I wonder if you might be able to give some thoughts to how organizations are recognizing the importance of development of the talent in the organization. And I'm wondering, for people that may be either looking at this or maybe a data leader that says, okay, what are the critical skills that I should start to be looking at or building up within my organization to achieve maybe some of the benefits that you've delivered through your key data and analytics programs? Any kind of thoughts on that?
Absolutely. Talent development, recruiting, retention, really a challenge for everybody who's working with technical teams nowadays. Everybody knows that data scientists are in high demand, and certainly we see that as well. We're doing what we can to build up the team and make sure we have the right cohort of data scientists to do the work we need to do. And I think we've been fairly successful in that regard. However, I will say that in addition to data scientists, there are a couple of key roles that are really critical to our success internally. One is engineering. We have our own dedicated machine learning engineering team that is not within the IT vertical, that solely supports tooling for data scientists and the deployment of data science models. That is not only critical for helping us to get closer, at least, to solving the last mile problem, getting models into production, but it's really an amazing resource for data scientists to help them sort of develop and understand what is necessary to put something into production. So having that base of software engineering best practice knowledge that is close to the team is critical. The other skill set and role that's very important to us is data science product manager. So we are a centralized team within an operations group. But we work with many different business areas throughout the company. We work with the claims processing area, we work with the clinical area, we work with member experience folks and customer service. And to make sure that we're aligned with the needs and expectations of each of those business units, we need to really have dedicated people who can work intensively with them to marry business leaders' needs and pain points with the art of the possible and chart out a joint roadmap for how we can execute on the technical side to bring value. And the data science product managers are really in a unique position to do that, having both a certain amount of technical knowledge that allows them to be effective translators of the technical work that's happening, and the kind of people skills and capacity to engage deeply with the business.
Now, do you, on these resources, which are critical, do you tend to develop within the organization, or you do sort of say, I have to have a mix and match? Because obviously some things, you need to be able to sort of be taught, know how to learn that. And if there's a bootstrap capability from the ground up, but that only gets you so far. So do you do a combination of hiring outside, or do you try and promote and grow within?
It's always going to be a combination. We definitely try to promote and grow from within. But I think there are benefits to having an injection of talent from outside to make sure that we don't get too parochial in our understanding of our problems, and also because you always have to be aligned with the external market. And if your strategy is solely based on growing people, at a certain point they're going to grow so much and they're going to be so successful that they're going to have lots of opportunities outside the company anyway.
Right, yeah. So I can see that. Question I might say for a little bit later is, does the growing from inside introduce some kind of ethical biases, and because they're so used to doing it the one single way? But we'll see if we got time at the end to talk about that. So another thing that's important when we hear about, especially large organizations that are on their data journey, and in some cases doing a data or digital transformation, much like I would guess Blue Cross Blue Shield is in the middle of doing. How does how does organization adopt to a data-driven culture? Um, Obviously 10 years ago, data was, and it may be different in Blue Cross Blue Shield, but I wonder if you can share with us your thoughts on how you seeing the data-driven culture being addressed at Blue Cross Blue Shield. Has it evolved? Has it changed? Has it always been a priority? Looking for your inputs on that.
I think it's been a journey for us. I think it really started around 4 or 5 years ago, near the same time that I joined the company, and my boss started around that time as well. It was really a push to mature the company around its use of data and specifically to inform decision making. And we've made a fair amount of progress since then. I think I've really, one thing I really enjoy about Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, Montana, Oklahoma, New Mexico, and Texas is that the leadership is very receptive to hearing about data and how we can use it more effectively, and is always even pushing me, I would say, to be more vocal and active inside the company to evangelize for data literacy and a data-driven culture. So today, actually, I'm going to be giving a talk later today on AI 101 for the broader company, talking about kind of what different terms mean, artificial intelligence, machine learning, knowledge engineering, representation learning, and so on, to give people, sort of a core fluency in these things. And we're going to be following up with a learning pathway for folks internally. So I think at the executive level, there's a lot of buy-in for helping the company move along this journey. And then the other side is bottom up. There's the folks across the company in different technical fields in IT, in our operations area and customer service, have been doing many great things, and giving them the opportunity to continue on their journeys, develop, mature, and think about career paths that allow them to become leaders and continue to evangelize for data literacy and a data-driven culture is part of my job.
So the couple of things to unpack there. One is, I love the fact that you're doing the AI 101. So maybe we might come back to you and say, hey, if you're already doing this AI 101, might be something that CDO Magazine may want to tap into, to maybe do a generic AI 101, especially with your background. Just something that you just come up with thinking of, because you mentioned obviously Illinois, Montana, Texas, and where was the other one?
Oklahoma and New Mexico.
Oklahoma and New Mexico. So now you've been with Blue Cross Blue Shield for like 4 to 5 years. So, and obviously we're just coming, I don't know whether we're coming out or the pandemic is not as bad as it was in prior years. But have you had a chance to go around and visit these different offices and locales?
I have a bit, and not. I haven't visited all 5 states yet in a professional capacity. So I'm in Chicago most of the time. I get down to Dallas, Texas, which is where our primary office in Texas is, pretty frequently. I've been to our Montana office in Helena. I have not yet been to New Mexico and Oklahoma, so that's it to do.
But it really makes a difference when industry experts like yourself are willing to share your knowledge, your successes, and I'd like to congratulate you for the successes that you've done at Blue Cross Blue Shield. So on behalf of the CDO Magazine, we'd like to thank you for your time today. And we really do appreciate that. We hope to have you back to talk about maybe AI 101 and how things are proceeding at Blue Cross Blue Shield at a later date.
This was a great conversation. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure's all ours. And for our listeners, please visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews. Thank you.